Horses win the King George running away, looking at it on the realistic side, but Mark's under strict instructions not to knock the horse about. If he's there, he's there. If he's good enough, he'll take his chance, but he will not be knocked about.
Well, Jenny absolutely frank, as always. There's the fellow. Now then, as just before they line up, let's hear from John.
Won't be knocked about. Toby Tobias is a 4-to-1 chance, very solid. He was 13-2 in the offices this morning, but Michael Tanner tells me, the great turf historian, no horse on his seasonal debut has ever won the King George. Now, any 5-2 Desert Orchid, that is taken. 5-2 and is now top of the head. The 9-4 favourite was Celtic Shot, who did open 7-2, and he was a 5-1 chance in the offices this morning. Now an 11-4 chance against Celtic Shot. A very weak horse is Savant du Loire, who's out from 4-1 to 6-1. They're showing against Savant du Loire, and the best of the rest is Nick the Brief, 14-1 with the rain coming down. Now a 10-1 chance, along with the French horse, the fellow, also 10-1. Any price against the rest, but very solid. Toby Tobias, a 4-1 chance against Desert Orchid, top of that, 9-4, and Celtic Shot, 11-4.
So prize assets in the yellow jacket. And Desert Orchid sweating up. It's a pretty cold day. It's a very grey day, very damp indeed, but that's it. They're lined up and they're away, and Desert Orchid and Richard Dunwoody have got the inside. That's the left. Prize assets up with the pace, so too Savant de Loire, and as they come down to the first of the 19 fences, and at it Prize Asset led at the first. There were no fallers. Espy is the back marker. Savant de Loire and Prize Asset with the noseband share the lead. Panto Princes with Desert Orchid as they take the first ditch, and at which Desert Orchid jumped it superbly. Comes through to share second with Panto Prince wide, and then Nick the Brief. What a big horse he is. Look at him going down. Smashing looking racehorse. A gap of 3 or 4 lengths then to the fellow and Celtic Shot, and then Panto Prince and Espy is last as they take the first turn and down towards a third of the 19 fences they jump. And it's Desert Orchid, winner of 32 races. He's run over 155 miles over hurdles and fences, and this is a 3-mile test, and he's been here before. And would you believe it, the sun's starting to shine as they come down towards the third, and it's Savant de Loire who has the lead. Savant de Loire, a fine leap there by Desert Orchid, no fallers at the third. Prize Asset on the inside of Desert Orchid though, and then up on the outside is take the next Panto Prince. And Toby Tobias are one of the back markers, and they've jumped 4. And they come down towards the 5th. Savant de Loire from Panto Prince on the outside of Desert Orchid as they take the 5th. And at it, another fine leap there by the great Toby Tobias. Didn't take it that keenly at the rear of the field, and is sharing last place now as they take the last on the far side. Savant de Loire from Desert Orchid and Panto Prince, a length to Prize Asset. And then Celtic Shot with the fellow. And Toby Tobias is second last, Espy last of all, Nick the Brief mid-division, and they make their first right-handed turn at the end of the first third of this King George VI rank chase. Grade 1 race, £75,000 in added prize money, and the pace isn't that strong. A steady, good, fast 3-mile gallop, and it's Savant de Loire by a length and a half. The Desert Orchid on the inside, and Panto Prince with a hoop sleeve jacket in third. A fine leap there by Desert Orchid. Espy is the back marker, and they come down towards the 8th. And it's Savant de Loire leading from Desert Orchid and Panto Prince. Savant de Loire, and then Desert Orchid and Panto Prince and the fellow. And Nick the Brief from Prize Asset, 2 lengths back to Celtic Shot. And then comes Espy and Toby Tobias. And they come down towards what will be the last next time round. And it's Savant de Loire who leads. Savant de Loire, the leader, takes it well. A fine lead by Desert Orchid. I think he's enjoying himself. Celtic Shot, isn't he? Made a mistake there and drops out to be last of all. And there's a roars of applause as he passes the post. There's still got a circuit to go, and Savant de Loire leads clear by 3. Desert Orchid, I'm sure, is enjoying himself in second, with Panto Prince in third, and then Dick the Brief 4, and the fellow is 5, and Prize Asset and Toby Tobias, who's made a mistake, and Celtic Shot, who's made a mistake, has 1 behind them, and that one is Espy. And John Oaksey, John Frankham, they're going to the water, and Desert Desert Orchid, I'm sure, is enjoying himself.
Well, he looks much happier certainly this afternoon than I've seen him in his last 3 runs in actual fact. The horse in front though is going particularly well, Sabin Dular, and Toby Tobias, well, he's just taken a little bit of time just to warm up.
But touching all available wood, this is a completely different Desert Orchid. So far he's been jumping for fun, jumping as if he was loving it. And well, he's got a very, very difficult horse to pass in front of him, but Sabin Dular in a moment I think will know he's been in a fight.
And they've got 7 more to jump. It's Sabin de Loire, clear by some 4 to 5 lengths. At the rear of the field, Celtic Shot's been making mistakes. Last is prize asset. Desert Orchid in second place and closing. The Fellow has come through to be third. Nick the Brief 4, and Toby Tobias makes ground on the outside of Panto Prince. Desert Orchid at 9 to 4. Celtic Shot at 11 to 4. You wouldn't want to take that. Toby Tobias is getting a bit closer at 4 to 1, and Sabin de Loire at 7 to 1 leads. 7 out, and Sabin de Loire has... Oh, has he? He's gone. He's hampered Desert Orchid, and the horse is okay, and the jockey Mark Perrin still on the ground, leaving Desi in the lead with 6 to jump. And it's Desert Orchid the leader. Now the Fellow, that French horse, is getting closer in second. Toby Tobias is third. Aspire mistake in fourth. Nick the Brief 5 and Celtic Shot. And they've got 5 more to jump, and it's Desert Orchid the leader by 3 lengths to Toby Tobias, the young pretender, in second place. This is 5 out. Toby Tobias is in second and he makes a mistake. Desert Orchid the leader, Toby Tobias is second. They're clear of it, third place horse the Fellow, and Celtic Shot is staying on. They've got 4 to jump, and Desert Orchid a brilliant lead. Toby Tobias in second, the Fellow, and Celtic Shot now back in third place. They come down towards the third from home. At the rear of the field, Aspire has been pulled up, and Nick the Brief has been pulled up, and this Desert Orchid out in front, clear by 2. Toby Tobias, those words ringing in my ears, he won't be given a hard race, but he's got Desert Orchid in his sights and he's trying to close. Back in third place, it's the Fellow and Celtic Shot, and it's Desert Orchid. He's got his ears pricked. He's been here before, a record 4th win in the King George. He's gone clear by 5. They've got 3 to jump. Desert Orchid, oh, what a leap! Toby Tobias in second, the Fellow is third, and he's got 2 to jump, and it's Desert Orchid clear by 8. He's got the race won now, 2 to jump. Desert Orchid comes to it. He's been here before, and it's Desert Orchid clear by 10. He's pushed out, but don't worry, nothing's getting closer. Toby Tobias is in second. The crowd's going absolutely wild. They've got 1 to jump, and it's Desert Orchid. He comes to take it, and he's jumped it brilliantly. This was his race. Desert Orchid, watch history being made. Rolls of applause. The King's in his counting house. Desert Orchid's blooming. He's been here before. Desert Orchid the winner. Marvellous. Desert Orchid has won it. Toby Tobias, a brave race for second place. Then in third was the Fellow in a great run he's had too. Celtic Shot would have been a bit closer, but for 1 bad mistake, and only 4 horses have finished in this King George VI ranked chase, a Grade 1 race. Well, I must say that I somehow got the impression over the first 3 or 4 fences that this horse was enjoying himself today. David Ellsworth always said, and what a tremendous shake of hands there from Adam Conrad. I must say, I thought Desert Orchid was enjoying himself today. The 9 to 4 favourite, well, he's surely as good as he ever has been. He's gone 155 miles in fences and hurdles, and well, for my money, this is his race. David Ellsworth has always said that, to be fair to the trainer, and the winner of the King George VI ranked chase in the colours of Richard Burridge. First, number 3, Desert Orchid, and Richard Dunwoody. He's ridden a double this afternoon on Boxing Day.
I wouldn't think he minds about the first half of the double. This is what counted, and they were all right at Whitesbury. All those who said that Desert Orchid was brought to form for the day that mattered and was in form, because from the moment he set off, the moment he jumped the first few fences, you could see that he was a horse really happy in his work. It was very sad that Sabin Duloir should just hit the top and topple over. That perhaps deprived us of a unforgettable struggle, but just hear the cheers. Richard has to almost wait for silence to get into the winner's enclosure.
I think that was a bigger and better reception than he ever got when he won the Gold Cup, John. It's an amazing training performance that. He was running away when he turned for home. Only ever going to be one horse in it.
Yes, there are the delighted owner and trainer. Mr. Burridge, of course, much the taller of the two, but I don't suppose he's necessarily the more delighted of the two, because David Ellsworth has had an awful lot on the line with this horse. He's been superbly successful both on the flat and with his jumpers over the past 12 months, but this is the moment he wanted most. For the fourth time, that rug goes on the grey. He looks quite pleased with himself.
Quite right, he looks delighted with himself. As you said, it was a shame that Sabin Doulard tipped over down the far side, and at one stage it looked as though the French horse, the fellow, was going to spoil the party again. But the further they went, the easier this horse was going.
Yes, of course, he didn't make the running at all until Sabin Doulard fell, so he has got a good deal of mud across his face, but he's cheered out of the ring just as loudly as he was cheered into it. Janice Coyle. Sadly, of course, Rodney Bolt isn't here. David Ellsworth's head lad, but he'll be watching on television, so congratulations, Rodney. You're the one who does, or at any rate superintends, the work at home.
These are very emotional scenes. The raising our voices above the cheers, and happiness is, for some time now, I've been watching a horse called Desert Orchid. And with us, a man who looks at him every day, and a man who, it hasn't all been happiness, no doubt, David Ellsworth.
Oh,
a worrying time.
Well, half the fun of racing is the anticipation, and this year there's been some doubt about it, and you know, I feel very pleased for everybody, especially the horse, who it's only natural that everybody's trying to identify the time when the horse is over the hill. And whilst he may not be as good as he was, that was a very dire struggle out there, and he, nothing flash, he did it the hard way, and he was the best horse on the day. And we're all very proud of him, and I'm very proud to be his trainer.
Well, he's got a wonderful team around him, David, but when we saw him the last time at Sandown, I know you said that obviously you were training for this race and all that, but he didn't nonetheless go out quite quickly. How sure were you that his real enthusiasm was still there?
Well, his enthusiasm was intact. I knew that. Wouldn't be telling the truth if I said I wasn't a little bit disappointed. It's very hard to see Desert Orchid finish fourth with four finishers, and then I read the papers the next day and I was almost convinced he was over the hill, but having slept on it, if you look at it objectively, I knew he hadn't arrived, he hadn't reached his peak. I don't think he has yet, but he's made remarkable improvements since Sandown. I don't think the trip was too short. I don't think he'd have won today's race had he been the same horse that went to Sandown. It's just really that these things take time, and the older you get, the harder it is to get fit. And you know, I can see the same thing happening next year, because he's a very young 11, coming 12-year-old.
65 races. How's he kept his youth so well?
Well, not many horses are fortunate enough to run that many races, because he's remained unbelievably sound, and you know, he's got a particularly big engine, so he's equipped to do it. But we're looking forward to next year now.
But Well, looking at today's race, Sabin de Loire was still leading you when he came down. How confident are you that made any difference?
Well, for a moment, my immediate reaction was we were going to be brought down, but seriously, he sidestepped him rather cleverly, I thought, really, on the ground. We had to pass him, and I know that Sabuan is a very good horse, and if I were training Sabuan, I can't even pronounce the rest of it, I'd have felt that, it was a great shame that he fell, because he was still travelling well, and we still had to pass him. But he'd have been a very good horse if he'd have stayed in front. And having said that, he is a very good horse, so I feel a certain amount of sympathy for the connections. And
Toby de Bars chased you up healthily, but...
Good young horse, I think if we'd been at Cheltenham today, he'd have beaten us. But round here, it's different. And I think Toby de Bars would probably make a lot of improvement. But having said that, I'm not trying to train him as well. I've got enough trouble with Desert Orchid. And, I think he'll improve as well, so it'll be interesting the remainder of the season.
Well, David, many congratulations for all of us, I know, all Channel 4 viewers. Thank you very much. And with us too, Richard Burridge. Richard,
my congratulations most of all to David, because he's never, for a minute, his confidence in the horse never wavered. And all the team at Whitesbury just shows what an enormously professional, competent and wonderful collection of people. I'd like to say hello to Rodney Bolt, who'll be watching at home. Just an absolutely thrilling day. It's given me as big a kick as any race he's ever run, and magnificent tribute to the horse and to all those who look after him. And he's once again put his doubters in their place.
Absolutely, and then David saying, well, he's still a young horse and talking about next year.
Absolutely, 5th King George. I would very much hope we'll be back here again next year. He's proved again and again this is his race. Level weights, round Kempton, 3 miles. Everything is in his favour, and also I'd like to pay great credit to Richard Dunwoody, who gave a magnificent road, didn't panic when he was taken on, just settled him in, and has formed a real understanding with the horse. And I'm just delighted. I'm delighted for everybody, and for myself and for the whole family. It's a thrilling day.
Thank you very much.
And can I just add, I'd just like to say a friend of my friend Pat McCabe, who's very ill, he's a big supporter of Desert Orchids. I'd like to say hello to him only.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Woody. And Richard Dunwoody joins us now. The never-ending story goes on. Richard, talking about next year now. Do you really think that there's a lot of life left in the horse?
Well, a horse wins like that, then you have to keep going.
Tell us the questions of the race. Sabin de Loire in front, still going quite well when he came down.
He was going quite well. I was happier. The old horse, he settled well enough. I didn't want to be forcing him along to go and make it with Sabin de Loire, especially in this crowd. And he was definitely happier once the horse had fallen and he got himself back in front. He definitely perked him up. But he's jumped smashing all the way, and so Mr. Ellsworth said he had him spot on today, and that's some training performance.
And it was very clear going to the start. He seemed to be tanking off fairly strong going to the start. He ran across to the rail for a moment.
I always have to do that, but he wasn't quite as keen as he was at Devon the time before. He wasn't quite as strong as he can be.
Well, Richard, I hope the story goes on and on. Thanks very much.
Cheers, thanks very much.
Number 3, Desert Orchid, the 9-4 favourite. Second, number 10, Toby de Bars at 4-1, and third, number 9, The Fellow at 10-1. The tape returns win 290, places 140, 150 and 210. The dual forecast pays £6 exactly. Non-runners are numbers 1 and 11 and 9 round.
Same time next year is required at the Secretary's office. Ladies and gentlemen, the chairman, Sir Evening de Rothschild, and directors of United Racecourses wish to take this opportunity of thanking the Rank organisation for their most generous and continued sponsorship of this our feature race today, the King George VI Rank Steeplechase. And we extend a warm welcome this afternoon to Lady Mary Meany, wife of the chairman of Rank, who will now present the trophy for our feature race. Here, ladies and gentlemen, to receive his trophy, your applause please for Mr. James Burridge.
Now let's have the extremely delightful experience of watching the last 3 fences again, because by this time it was, I wouldn't say it was all over, because we were really enjoying ourselves, and so was Desert Orchid. Ping! He hasn't really made a mistake all the way, John.
Never saw him put a foot wrong at all. He seemed to be jumping better than ever. I must admit, when I saw him run last time at Sandown and also in the Irish National, once or twice, the horse just didn't look happy. He looked different altogether today. Looked to be enjoying himself more than I've done, or more than he has done for some time. And Richard Dunwoodie's given him a couple of cracks there, just to make absolutely certain that he's got him on the bridle. Ears pricked there, going to the last. Plenty of energy. He's given that last fence a lot of daylight. Toby Tobias, he was tired as they turned for home, and you heard Mrs. Pittman saying earlier that he wasn't to have a hard race. Well, I think he's had a hard enough race anyway, just chasing this horse for the last mile or so, but that was a really good and a wonderful performance.
And with ears pricked, here he comes home, and what a roar there was at that moment.
Well, you can't believe the roar there was in the stands here when Sabin du Loire went and Desert Orchid hit the front. Well backed, all the public they all seem to be on. In return, the 9-4 favourite, best like £9,000 to win £18,000, £6,000 to win £13,500. He was 7-2 when the betting started out a fortnight ago. He was only 15-8, the very best this morning in the offices. But here on the track, you could easily have got 5-2. Desert Orchid, the bookmakers want to get him on what has turned out to be a dreadful day for them. He's the 20th favourite. He's the 20th favourite in 14 runnings to go and win this, and he's the 3rd time he's won it as favourite. Odds on, 6-4 on last year, 2 on in 1988. And before him, listen to the favourites before him, like Burrow Hill Lad and Wayward Lad. These are the legends of steeplechasing. Silverbuck, Case Barton, Captain Christie, Pendle, Arkle. Those are the kind of names, of course, the Desert Orchid is in now. The 9-4 favourite, but let's listen round here. What do you all think of Desi, lad? They think of Desert Orchid down here. They love their racing and they love Desert Orchid. Thank you very much.
And his result from Wetherby, the 2 o'clock, won by number 3, Old Applejack at 13-2. Second, number 5, In Marjed, 11-2. And third, number 2, Nosnagear, the 3-1 joint favourite. Number 7, Bad Trade, was the other joint favourite, and 8 round. Wincanton, the 2 o'clock. First, number 2, Skipping Tim, 13-8 on favourite. The second, number 1, Certain Style, at 7-2. And third, number 3, Gay Edition, returned at 4-1. A non-runner was number 5 and 6 round. At Wolverhampton, the 2 o'clock was won by number 2, New Halen, 11-8 favourite. The second, number 4, Bartina's Star, 25-1. And third, number 3, Wigtown Bay at 9-4, 5 round. Huntingdon, the 2 o'clock. First, number 3, Good Tonic, 5-2. The second, number 6, Force March, 7-2. And third, number 1, Pendennis, the 6-4 favourite. Non-runner 5 and 5 round.
The day very much not over yet, not for Richard Dunwoodie anyway. He rides Remittance Man in the next here with a major chance of getting a treble up. And we'll also be bringing you the finish of the big race in Ireland, and of course the winners of that whole